is a question about the nature of moral experience, the experience of the moral agent. If you were speaking to a non-theist who, in a particular situation, encounters a particularly morally virtuous human being, and here, for this example, it does not matter whether this morally virtuous individual herself is a theist or non-theist. But say you are a moral agent who comes under the influence or just gets to know someone else who is very morally virtuous,
yes,
and you recognize this,
yeah,
right, in the presence of this person. What is the difference between the experience of the non-theist who is genuinely affected by a morally virtuous person as contrasted with a theist who is genuinely affected by a morally virtuous person?
Good. So what's the difference between the theist who admires a morally virtuous person and is moved by that admiration, and a non-theist? Well, I think that the theist has certain additional resonances, shall I say. When the theist meets somebody who is, let's say, faithful, the theist not only admires the faithfulness, but is grateful to God for it, and recognizes a similarity to God's faithfulness in that person's faithfulness. And those are, as I say, additional resonances which the non-theist doesn't have available. But the admiration of the virtue will be the same.
So is the addition here that the theist has, which the non-theist does not possess in this experience, of the same qualitative nature as what the theist gets? In other words, is the experience of God simply a magnification or perfection, yes, of the palpable moral experience that the atheist has on meeting a genuinely good person?
Well, it's going to be like in some ways and not like in other ways. So this is going to be like England after 1066 or whatever it is, because it's going to be qualitatively different in that it will move the theist to some kind of prayer. When I said gratitude and recognizing a similarity to God, I'm talking now about prayer. They won't move the non-theist to that kind of practice. So it will be qualitatively different in that way, but there will be a lot that's also very much the same. I mean, this deep admiration. And not only admiration, I mean, Kierkegaard is quite telling about admiration. He says admiration can be an obstacle to actually following the command. So it's not just simply that you admire this person, it's that you will to be like that person. You try to conform your life to that pattern.
There are no further questions. Yes. I hope this actually is a question, not just an advertisement of diversity. It might be an imperative to Johnson Edwards, and I'm willing to eat and for the sake of the law. When you say, for instance, we could have a property, have life without sex, these kinds of things, if this was commanded by God. I'm sorry to report my intuitions are just flatly contradictory to that. If God said, I command you not to have property, not to have sex, I'd say, no, that's awful. Of course I won't do that. Right? I'm just wondering, could you say more about this? Do we just have loggerheads, or is there something in this?
Well, if you're a theist and you think that what God commands is good, then if you think God is commanding you not to have sex, then you have to think that not having sex is good. Now, you might be so convinced that sex is good that if it seemed to you as if God was telling you not to have sex, that it couldn't be God who was telling you not to have sex, because that couldn't be the command of a loving God. That might be your position. But I have to report that my position is different. I think that God could command such a thing, and God does actually command, I think, some people. God gives a vocation to some people not to have sex. That is not, in my view, a denial of their nature as sexual beings, but a particular kind of fulfillment of that nature. But you probably don't agree with me about that. So we have, I think, a profound disagreement.